Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Eclectic Stitcher podcast. My glasses are apparently giving me quite a bit of glare, and I'm sorry, I can't do a lot about it. And I'm also getting glare from behind. Figured film in the evening, even though the doors and windows behind me are facing west, because it's overcast today, so it's very dark. But they usually give a lot of exposure back. I'm usually backlit, very bad. I'm still backlit because I have all the grow lights up everywhere, so it's almost over. I can hopefully plant everything out next week. All of the plants, except for some of the tomatoes, have been given to the people who they were supposed to be for. Although my mom said she didn't want any and then ended up taking like 6 home. So my dad was like, "Oh, you are going to garden this year." And she's like, "Well, I don't want to weed around nothing." She's like, "I don't just want to weed my garden and have a big empty space." So apparently she needs entertainment in her weeding by weeding around things. Anyway, I worked on 3 projects since we talked last. It has been more than a month. Clearly, it's been like 6 weeks. And I wanted to do this like 12 days ago. Or, yeah, 12 days ago when it would have been a month, but haven't. It's May 18th. It is Victoria Day here in Canada. It's a day off. So I've had a long weekend, which is lovely. My parents were over on Saturday helping with some stuff out back. One of the big raised beds that my dad had made had split at the bottom, or at least the base had like come apart. He still doesn't know quite what happened, but he fixed it. And then they helped me refill some stuff, and he changed a part on the car, stuff like that. So yesterday I did a whole bunch of nothing. And I need to go to Canadian Tire probably tomorrow and pick up some boiled linseed oil because he built me 2 new raised beds. And he did the outside with Thompson's weatherproofing stain, but I need to do the inside with boiled linseed oil at least once, probably twice. I need to get that done this week because they're going to be for peppers, and I want those to go out hopefully next weekend. Although we had like only +1 last night, and today it was like +7, but it felt like +1 Celsius, of course. It's been chilly. So a lot of stuff I have out back already, but some stuff I absolutely do not. And I need to go to the greenhouse and want to pick up some stuff. Because I now have, I don't know if you can see, over here I have like a long green planter. Yeah, up on top of the straw bale, over there, right there. My strawberries used to be in that planter, and now they're in a big whiskey barrel, so I can put something in there. And I'm thinking flowers. But flowers that I don't grow, because I've planted all of my flower seeds that I wanted to do this year, and I think the rest require like cold stratification and like a bunch of shenanigans that I don't have time for because it's already May 18th. I'm surprised that the milkweed I did stratify long enough. The marshmallow root, I actually have one that sprouted. I don't think any of my skullcap did. I'm unsure. One of them is either skullcap or stinging nettle. I'm not quite sure which one. Then the milkweed's outside already. I have 2 little milkweed plants. So anyway, I have worked on 3 projects since we last spoke. And I have one knitting project that I wanted to share and talk about. So I will start off, of course, with the cross stitch. The knitting stuff I'll do later. If you're not interested, you can leave. Not that very many people are watching this, so you might not even get this far. Anyway, that's okay. We don't care. So the first thing I'll start off with is my new start from last time. I started Guilty Pleasures by Longdog Samplers. I have made some little things on Canva that I'm going to put here that have like the details of the, it'll have a picture of what the project will look like when it's done. It will have the name, the designer, the fabric, and the floss that I'm using. And then it will also show a picture of where I was last time, and I'm hoping it will be long enough for you to see both pictures well. But this is where I am. I put 1,243 stitches approximately since I last recorded. I last recorded it on, like I said, April 6th. I did 111 stitches on April 6th. I'm not sure if I did them before I recorded or after. So I've included them in that, but there may be some. Anyway, so this is where I'm at. The whole border, both borders are done. And then I finished this top, the initial top border, and then started this one down here. And then I put in a tiny little bunny, a teeny tiny little bunny. And then I haven't touched it since then. So this is being done on 40 count linen by Roxy Floss in dirty porcelain. And it has a kind of slight pinkish tinge to it. And then I'm using a sulky, 12 weight sulky. I think it's peach something. I don't remember. It'll be on the thing. That'll be probably over here. My right and lefts are not good today. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. We will get it eventually. Really enjoying this. I was hoping I would almost be done by now. I'm sure that if I had only worked on this since I recorded, I'd probably be done. I've probably done the 6,000 odd stitches. I am at 27.52%, and it has 6,704 stitches left. The total stitch count for this one is 9,249. I have done 2,545. So, like, as far as a Longdog goes, it's small. It says my average stitch rate is 212 stitches per day, and that if I continue with that, I could finish it by June 19th. That's a month away. Ish. But I probably won't. Maybe I will, but probably not. I'm really enjoying full coverage at the moment, which you will see in right now. So the next project that I worked on, which is at the bottom of my little pile, let me get it out here, is Winter Hat Owl. This one is, I'm going to put my thing up, which will help. It's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm doing it I'm doing this one 1/1 full cross on a 32 count even weave in Icy Waters, I think by Pole Stitches. I have put a lot of stitches into this, I believe. I need to do some math because I did not do this ahead of time. I have put in 2,970 stitches since it last came out. And the numbers are going to be off here. 77.57%. I have 26,247 stitches left to do. That is plus or minus a couple because I'm manually removing the background from this pattern. But this is where I am at. I am still working on kind of the bottom row of pages of the owl. I am not always sure. I'm finding with full coverage that I am running into some decision fatigue with picking which color or symbol to work on next, right? So I don't want to stitch in blocks because I'm removing the background, and I don't want to, I stitch cross country basically. So I pick a color and I stitch it as far as I can go. And I mean, I could show you the back of my stitching and you would see quite a few threads that go quite far because I don't constantly want to stop and start threads. But I find confetti very annoying, I'm sure, and it just takes so much longer to do. So I worked in the bird in the blues quite a bit. You can see, I think I have this 996 that I did quite a bit of. I know I did quite a bit in this wing. And then after that, the first page that I'm kind of working on is like this little section here, and then there's this, and then there's like this. So I started on this far page, and I started color completing. So I started with the color that had the most number of stitches, and I completed it in this page, and then I went to this page and completed it. And for the reds, there's not a lot in this middle page, and then I would go on this side. So I was doing this, and then going up here, and then working in this kind of section. Or I think that's the other way. I was doing this page. This is the smallest page, because it goes about right here to here. Yeah, here to here, and then here to here, and then here to here. So I was picking colors in this And so I've kind of been trying to fill out these little poof balls. And then I was also getting some stitches in on the feet while I was going, because there's a lot of like dark reds in these feet. And then I was going up and working in kind of this section here. So yeah, I have gotten a decent amount of stitches done. I kind of got tired of that and didn't want to just go into the blues and finish a bunch of stuff. So then I put it aside. I am liking how it's turning out. I clearly did not, like, there's no max color version of this pattern that has been released. And I clearly did not look at the mock-up very closely, or didn't really understand, because the shading, like in this wing here and in this wing here, is awful. There's very little gradation, as you can see. Like, it's kind of blocky. And that kind of bothers me. But the gradation everywhere else seems to be fine. I think it's just because it's a large section that's predominantly like one color, but I feel like they could have made that gradient between those colors in those little flippers better. But that's okay. We are not judging right now. We don't have time. Okay, and then the last project I've been working on. How many days have I spent on this? I don't think that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days. So I picked this back up on May 10th. And since then, I have put 3,215 stitches in. This is being done 2/1 10th stitch on a 28 count easy grid. It is Summer's Bloom, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I am working in the second page. As you can see, the first page is done, although I am seeing a couple stitches that I've missed that I have to go back. But I'm working in the top left-hand corner. I am working on the second page. And this one I have been color completing. So I've been picking the symbol that has the most number of colors, and I have done 2. I'm almost on the third. The third color is kind of this purpley color that's in here, 3740, maybe? We could go look. No, through 3042. 3740, I think, is that really dark mauvey color. This is significantly lighter. 3042 is the color. I have like 32 stitches right up in this corner that I didn't feel like finishing before I decided to come on and record. So all of those stitches have been in that specific page. I am kind of going page by page. I am enjoying the color completing. I think because it gives me a lot of like block stitching kind of to begin with within a confined area. And then like if I wanted to do more block stitching on another page, I could always go and work on a high color on the next page over. But there are some that of course have one stitch. And this is not max color. I don't think a max color version of this has been released. I don't think I'd do it anyway. It's flowers. I don't think it needs max color. But it is looking very pretty. So yeah, that's where I am with that. And I'm very happy with it. Have I done 3? I think I've done 4. I think the purple is the 4th highest color on this page. But I don't really remember. So yeah, those are all the projects that I've been actively working on, stitch-wise. So since we last spoke in 6 weeks, I've done 7,428 stitches. Now 3,215 of those were not full cross. They were half cross or 10th stitch. And I am doing the thing in the back that makes it 10th stitch versus just half across. So I'm like going across so that the coverage is a little bit better. But I think with the 2/1, I don't really need to do that. I think the coverage is good on its own. But I did look that up. I'm not an expert or master by any means. Summer's Bloom I hadn't picked up since March, so I didn't do anything on it in April. But that's okay. I don't really have a rotation. As you can see, I kind of rotate through my projects. So I work on one project kind of monogamously for like a couple weeks until I get bored of it, and then I move on to another project and I work on that monogamously for a couple weeks. I have each of my active projects in their own separate Q-snap right now, and like my full coverage pieces with a lot of different colors are kitted up. Everything's kitted up into, like, the bigger projects are kitted up into basically floss boxes. And then smaller projects are just in these little photo boxes that I found. I actually have examples of this. So this is the photo box that I use. This is just carrying my fancy floss and my sulky threads. I just use it for storage. So a smaller project, everything can go in here very easily. But a larger project, I just use a floss box. I do have one here. I started to kit up a project, so I just go through. And then I bought these little labels, and I label the project that's in there, and I have that on each of one of my little boxes, whether it's the photo or the other box. So the next project that I have, this is knitting. I am going to do some cross-stitch plans because I have a couple things on the go. I started a new cardigan. I really want another lightweight cardigan for work. I work in an office, and so it's cold all year round. It's cold. But in the summer, I don't need like a big heavy cardigan. I need something lighter. And I used to have a gray, really lightweight cardigan, and it kept ripping. It was store-bought, and it was so finely, like the yarn was like lace weight. The thread was like lace weight. And then it was machine knit and sewn together, whatever. And I kept getting rips into it because it kept snagging on things. And I had knit a couple patches to go on it, but it was starting to look unprofessional. Let's say that. It was looking kind of raggedy. So I got rid of it. I don't even have it for at home anymore. And I'm in a really bad spot on this because I'm in the middle of a purl row. Excellent. Go me. So I have a ton of yarn. I haven't been knitting much the last year, but I have been knitting a little bit. So I found a pattern that I liked. Who is it by? Jaq Studios, I believe. Used to be Jacqueline Cislak, but she has changed her name, they have changed their name. I'm sorry. Jaq Studio. The pattern is Cottage. It is a top-down, fingering-ish weight button-up cardigan. I'm probably never going to button it. I don't even know if I'm going to do the buttonholes or put buttons in it because I don't do that. Her patterns are incredibly size inclusive. They usually go up to like a 70-inch bust size, like full bust. And I have done test knits for her. They're really, really good patterns. You can find them on Ravelry. You can find them on their own website. Jaq Studio, it's JAQ Studio. And so I picked this up, and I have a sweater quantity of, I don't have the tag on here anymore. This is Madeline Tosh Pashmina, which is a sport weight. It's 75 merino, 15% silk, 10% cashmere in the color Dust Weaver. This is probably not going to be accurate color-wise. It looks pretty solid, but Madeline Tosh does do semi-solids. I have 5 skeins of this, and it's about 1,800 yards. It should be more than enough to knit this. So I started, and I am working on the raglan increases for the arms. I am alternating every 2 rows because it is a more hand-dyed-esque kind of fabric. It's got this lovely ribbed kind of shoulder or band around the neck, and that turns into the button band. You can see some of the, like right in here, you can see some of the semi-solidness of it. It's really pretty. It has like some purples in it. Then it goes into these almost taupey gray. It's very, very pretty. Very, very pretty. I'm really enjoying it, and I think it'll be beautiful once it's finished. So I have put quite a bit of work into that. I have not touched it in a while. because I'm getting to the point where the purl rows are so long, and I am nowhere near close to finishing, like, splitting off for the armholes. Nowhere near. I've done like this much, and I need to do like this much. But yeah, I think that'll be a really great kind of staple cardigan. The next sweater that I want to work on, I want to do just a plain black cardigan, and I have some Shelter by Brooklyn Tweed, which they don't make it anymore, and I have a sweater quantity in like their cast iron, which is their black, and I'm really want to get something done with that because that'll be super lightweight and warm, and it'll be really nice. I just have to find the right pattern because, like, there's so many knitting patterns out there for sweaters, and everyone has to be special. I just want like a basic cardigan. So finding a basic one that won't like slip off my shoulders constantly is more of a struggle than you'd think. So next thing I wanted to quickly talk about is some cross-stitch projects that I am in planning with. I have 2 full coverage pieces that I want to start. The first one is by Dragon Muse, and it is called Fairy Tale. I'm going to put a picture of it probably over there. It's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is one of the patterns, the cropped version of this was released for their 2026 Stitch Along. And I looked at the cropped version and was thinking about doing the Stitch Along, but because their Stitch Along patterns are all quite small, I felt like they were all fairly pixelated, and I didn't really like the look of them. I also really liked the bird one, Wise Bird, Sleepy Bird, something. It's like an owl and a robin or something. That one was really cute too. So I didn't end up joining in, but this one was released as a full pattern long before, and there's a max color version as well. So I have my floss is in this bag. You can see my floss is not organized in any way, shape, or form yet. So I went through and pulled out all of the flosses that I had in my collection and put it in there, and then went and bought, because I end up buying all of the colors at once. So I did that, and I have the fabric and I have the pattern. I bought it on one of their last sales, and so that is going to get started. And I think I'm going to cross-country color complete 310 and 969 entirely, because there's a lot of stitches in both of those colors. What's going on, Si? Okay, dog's just suddenly up and staring at me. So I think I'm going to color complete those 2 cross-country or across the whole project, and try to see how that goes. I might get tired of that. Si, just go lay down or something. I don't know, man. And then the next one that I want to start is an Ivory Crow by Margaret Morales Max Color. I'll put a picture of that over here as well. And I have the fabric for it. Those are both going to be done on 28 count easy grid. 2/110, like Summer Bloom. I have gathered all of the floss that I already own for that project. That was in one of those floss containers that I popped up earlier as an example. And then I just need to buy all the floss that I don't have. And I'm going to pick up the pattern on the next sale. I'm assuming she's going to do one for Memorial Day next weekend, and I'll probably pick up the pattern then. Otherwise, I don't have any new starts planned. I have not bought anything else. So yeah, I am enjoying the projects that I'm working on. I think I want to get back to Pandemic at some point. I should put more work into that. But I am really enjoying full coverage right now. So I'm going to keep going with Summer's Bloom and see how far I can get on that. And while I have these new ones planned, I don't have any specific dates or reasons or anything to actually start them. So they may not get started for quite a while. We'll see how it goes. If you want to see anything of my garden, let me know. I have a container garden because I just have a little cement patio. I'm not allowed to put anything on the grass. We did a bunch of work in it, like I said, over last weekend. I have a bunch of stuff out already. My garlic is gigantic already. My rhubarb is very unhappy in the pot it's in. My onions are doing well. My beets are starting to come up. My bachelor's buttons are starting to come up. And so far, it seems to be going pretty well. I planted beans and nasturtiums and calendula last weekend. So hopefully those will start to come up too. And then I'll be able to get the tomatoes and peppers and everything out of the house. And gardening season will be kind of upon us. And then I will be running up and down, turning water on for the garden hose and turning it off and doing a bunch of shenanigans. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Talk to you later. Bye.